You will be annotating as I'm going over this guide, so have your document split screened with this video so you can do both at the same time. You should have your Kindred essay planning guide in Notability. So we are going to follow these steps and annotate together. So first you're going to choose one of the following prompts. Notice there are letters that are going to guide you through this entire document. And so notice step B is to annotate the prompt, circling words you don't know, highlighting words central to the prompt, and underlining verbs that represent what you were supposed to do. So we are going to annotate as we read. So number 1, in a novel by William Styron, a father tells his son that life is a search for justice. Choose a character, and so that's what I'm doing. So you're underlining verbs that represent what you do. So I'm choosing a character from Kindred who responds in some significant way to justice or injustice. So that's pretty central to the prompt. Then write a well-developed essay while you're writing. Write a well-developed essay in which you analyze the character's understanding of justice, the degree, so there's one part, the degree to which a character's search for justice is successful, that's another part, and the significance of this search for the work as a whole. That seems very thematic. What's the point? So this is a nice 1, 2, 3-step prompt. If you're thinking about body paragraphs, this prompt kind of sets that up for you nicely. Okay, number 2, in literary works, cruelty, that seems pretty important for this prompt. Cruelty often functions as a crucial motivation or a major social or political factor. In Kindred, acts of cruelty are important to the theme. Write a well-developed essay, that's what you're doing, analyzing how cruelty functions in the work as a whole, and, so there's your next piece, what the cruelty reveals about the perpetrator and or victim, and or, so maybe you could do one of each, or choose one only. Consider what point, the point, Octavia Butler is attempting to make by exploring Dana's empathy for the people whom she meets on the Wayland plantation. Okay, so you were talking about cruelty. So analyzing how it functions in the work, what it reveals about perpetrator and or victim, and how Dana's empathy for the people she meets on the Wayland plantation intertwines within this cruelty. Okay, very nice. Prompt number 3. So you should be annotating all of the prompts in order to figure out which one you want to choose. So prompt number 3, many plays or novels use contrasting places. For example, 2 countries, 2 cities or towns, 2 houses, or the land and the sea, to represent opposed forces or ideas that are central to the meaning of the work. I wonder what contrasting places we can come up with in Kindred. So Kindred contrasts 2 such places. Write an essay explaining how the places differ. I'll do a different color. How the places differ, what each place represents, and number 3, how their contrast contributes to the meaning of the work. Really important word in this prompt is contrast. Differ. Each represents. That means your 2 places should not represent the same thing. You need a different idea for each. And notice how you have 3 different pieces. So you have your, how they differ. So what is each one? What each one represents, and how their contrast contributes to the meaning of the work. Okay, so notice there's kind of a theme point in each of these prompts. Okay, and our final prompt. In many works of literature, past events can affect, positively or negatively, the present actions, attitudes, or values of a character. So we are looking at the past affecting the present. That's the key to this one. In Kindred, identify how Dana, let's use a different color, how Dana must contend with some aspect of the past, either personal or societal. Then write an essay in which you show how Dana's relationship to the past contributes to the theme. So you're identifying Dana's relationship to the past, so thinking about personal or societal, and then how that's affecting her in the present, right? Because remember, we're doing past to present. So Dana's past, so experience in past, is part 1. Affecting her present is part 2. And then contributing to theme, what does it all mean, is part 3. So past affecting the present. And a really cool key part of this one is that you can be looking at either personal or societal. So thinking about in the past, is she dealing with something internally or is it external? Or maybe you will do one of each within that same paragraph. So her in the past, affecting the present, and then the theme. And then don't forget about the time periods, 1800s antebellum South. And then we have the 1970s current day. What does that show? What is Butler illuminating? You have annotated each of the 4 prompts. Read through them a few times. Figure out which one kind of makes sense to you, which one's giving you ideas, which one's giving you data that's floating around in your mind, and you're going to choose your prompt. And then we annotated together, but you want to go through and make sure you did step B. So maybe you didn't know certain words. You want to circle those. Maybe you didn't know what contend means. So any word that you might not know, you have to circle it because you have to know what you're doing in order to write about it. Highlight words central to the prompt and underline verbs that represent what you are supposed to do. Okay, that's step B. You mostly did that. Step C. This is the last step you're doing for homework before you come to class next period. So make sure you've done all the way through step C. You're restating the prompt you choose. So your chosen prompt, you have now picked a prompt. So take a minute, figure out which prompt you want to write about. And then you're restating it in your own words. So you're going to be writing right here. So you should be restating. Think about why you should restate your prompt. You need to understand the prompt in order to fully address it. And if you're restating the prompt in your own words, that means you should be addressing what you have to do, what's the objective, and what are the pieces you need to address. So you should definitely be addressing 1, 2, 3 pieces because we are writing a 5-paragraph essay. So that would be an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion paragraph. So you want to figure out the 3 body paragraph points you're addressing, and those come from your prompt. So when you're restating the prompt in your own words, make it flow nicely. As you're writing it, address your 3 pieces of the prompt and make sure you figure out what you need to do when you're addressing those pieces. That is your homework. So turn in your nicely annotated prompts, choose a prompt, and restate it in your own words for part C. Turn this into the video submission slot on Schoology, showing that you watched the video, understood the prompts, and have chosen your own. And then come ready next class to move on this guide. Okay, very nice. Let me know if you have any questions. Cheers.